Good morning, students. Hope my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, good morning, one and all. Um, Today's class of design analysis of algorithms, we are dealing with module 1. As I told, it deals with introduction. So, recap with respect to the previous class, I had dealt with the fundamentals of algorithm problem solving, where you have to know the steps involved and the flow chart, how the flow goes between the various steps, right? And the different parameters which you decide at every steps, okay, which you should know as a part of algorithm problem solving. So the agenda of today's classes, I will just tell you about the different types of algorithm specification, how exactly that algorithm can be specified, which we had already seen in the previous class. Then out of which is suitable, out of the different types of algorithm specification, as I told you, which is suitable, I would have told you already, but it will discuss. And then followed with that is the pseudocode convention. As I told you, pseudocode is one of the best way for specifying the algorithm. What are the various conventions used, right? You should know that is pseudocode conventions, followed with an example, followed with an assignment. Okay. So before we go for the topic, can anybody tell me what are the different ways of algorithm specification? How can you specify your step-by-step procedure, which is made up of unambiguous instructions? What are the different ways of specifying? Can anybody just name them? What are the different ways of specifying, which I told you in the last class? What are the different ways of specifying?
Ma'am, natural language, pseudocode, and flowchart.
And flowchart. So as I told you, an algorithm that I write can be prescribed or can be described in three ways. One is the natural language, which we tell is the English. So I will write simple steps, okay, using English language. Okay, and as I told you, I should take care very much in this case, because every statement that you write should be an unambiguous, because sometimes, any language you take, the way I want to tell you something, you may interrupt in another way. That's common. That's human nature, right? We should give an unambiguous set of instruction, which sometimes we fail. Not in even English, any language you take, the way I write one statement may be interpreted or understood by another person in some other way. So slightly, this is not the right way. The second way which we saw was the flowchart, which I call it as graphic representation. So you can see flowchart you have already seen. I suppose we use various symbols to write the flowchart, right? The various symbols to write the flowchart. I think you people know. Okay, so I'm not going to the depth of it. So again, there's a problem again. So they found, okay, let me write flowchart, but there's again a problem. The problem here is this method is suitable only when it is small and simple, when the algorithm is small and simple, but not when the algorithm is large and complex. So I fail, I cannot sit and write all those flowchart and sit. So what the inventors found is, let us go to another method, so called as a pseudocode method, right? What is a pseudocode method? Pseudocode method is a method which is a combination of two things. One is, as I told you, your English-like statements. What is the other one? What is the other one, students?
Programming language, ma'am.
Programming language constructs. I will not write the entire program, but I will use the constructs available in the programming language. Say, for example, what do you mean by constructs? It is like, um, uh, I'm sorry, the constructs means like, how do you write a if statement? How do you write a while statement? How do you write printing statement? How do you declare variables? How do you assign variable, like that? So I will use some programming constructs of my programming language, which is quite similar or quite the same in all programming languages. For example, if I take if is same in C, if is same in C++, if is same in Java, if is same in Python, if is same in R, any language you take, it is the same. Okay, the common constructs which is the same, I will make use of them. English like statements, both combined, I will put something called as a pseudocode. Yes, and this pseudocode method, it looks similar to program, but it is not a program. Try to understand. We typically describe algorithms as program here, but it is similar, but not a program. Okay, so they found that okay, pseudocode method is the best way to specify the algorithm. Next, when I am writing pseudocode, I should know certain conventions to be followed. Conventions. Okay, so you cannot write a pseudocode in whichever way you want. Are you trying to understand? Right? Suppose say if you are learning a two-wheeler, you should follow certain rules and regulations, isn't it? You cannot overtake uh, left side, or you cannot take a U-turn where U-turn is not available, or you cannot jump a red signal. There are certain rules and regulations when you try to learn a two-wheeler. Similar wise, when you write a pseudocode, certain rules or certain conventions to be followed. So I'll just mention one by one. Try to note it down if you have a notebook, because this is the basic for you to write the next algorithms. Very simple. When you write a pseudocode, there you have to write some comments. Very important, because I told you documentation plays a very important role when you write the algorithm or the program. So comments usually in the pseudocode, we have several comments in different languages, but in the pseudocode, I'm talking about only in the pseudocode, right? In the pseudocode, we can write the comments beginning with 2/. Are you understanding, students? Beginning with 2/. And that continues to be till the end of the line. That means to say, till the end of the line, it is treated as a comment itself. Next line, if you want to write a comment, again start with the double slash. There's no multi-line comment. It is a single line comment. That's what I mean to say. Then blocks are indicated with matching braces. So that is, you all know this, open brace, close brace, flower parenthesis. They are called as, what do you mean by blocks, students? What can be blocks? What are blocks? What do you mean blocks in programming language or in computer science field?
Set of statements.
Set of statements. Very good. So usually we call set of statements called as compound statements. Okay, a compound statement, which is a collection of simple statements, is represented as a block. So you all know, suppose in a if is followed by set of statements, you put that as a block. Similar wise, even in pseudocode, we will write block, right? And the body of the procedure also forms a block. So for example, body of a procedure, if I have to give you the example there, that is your function. Function also you put them in a block, isn't it? Set of statements, function, body, you all put that as a block, isn't it so? So the same thing is followed here. There's nothing difference, okay? And similarly, statements are delimited by semicolon, right? So this is common. So whether it is C, Java, whatever it is. So here we are delimiting it by a semicolon. Sometimes in some algorithms, this is omitted, but we will follow statement ending with semicolon. We will follow it, okay? Next is the other pseudocode convention. The identifier begins with a letter. I hope you remember this rule when you are defining any identifier. What is an identifier, students? What do you mean by an identifier? What can be an identifier? Variable name, function name, yes, class name, right? So various entities, keywords, they are all the identifiers. So usually in C and other programming language, there are various rules for identifier. Okay, but in pseudocode, the identifier should always begin with a a letter. So that is ABCD, capital A or small a, whatever it is. Okay. Next is the data types of the variables are not explicitly declared. Mean to say, we don't write the data types of the variables. Suppose if I'm using any variables, I think you people have seen last class, that is sum of two numbers. We just wrote read two numbers, num1 and num2. I never specified the data types there. So we need not have to give the data types. The data types of the variables are not given explicitly, but it is understood based on the context. So when I tell read two integers, num1 comma num2, num1 and num2, they are my data types. Very much understood. Okay. They are the num1 and num2 get the data types called as int. So based on the context, we will understand the data types of the variables. Okay. Next, compound data types. When I talk about data types, you have int, float, double, bool, okay, character. Those are all the simple ones. But the compound data types like structure, class, like that. So they are created by using records. Records. There's another convention called as records. Yes, so you not have to much worry about it, but try to know records. So what is the example here I am just giving? See, node is equal to record. So what is the data type of record? Sorry, node. Node is of what type, ma? Node is of what type, students? What is the data type of record? Sorry, node. Students. Someone has to speak. Node is of what type? Is it of type int, float, double, char? What is it? What is the type of node? Can you all hear me? Students. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is the type of node? Node is of what type? Node is equal to record. Node is of type what, ma? It is of type record. Try to understand. Okay, node is of not type int, float and all. So it is a compound data types, not the simpler one, where the node is of consisting certain data. So data type 1, data 1. Okay, data type n, data. So it has got some data 1 to n, which is of data types 1 to n, something. Okay. Then node star link. Okay, where link is a pointer to the data called as data type called as node. Okay. Can anybody tell me what is this telling you? What is this telling you? This statement, whatever I wrote here, can anybody tell me what is it simulating? Node is equal to record, data 1 to data n, node star link. It's one of the data structure. Which data structure is this? Students. Which data structure is this? Which data structure is this? If you don't speak, it will be a problem. Which data structure was that?
Linked list, ma'am.
Yes, it is of data structure of type linked list. Very simple, you can just see. It has got some info. You tell. If it was wrong, no problem. You are learning, this learning phase. This is info field. This is the link field. Yes. Okay. So what is link? Link is a pointer to a record type node. Can you see here? To the record type node, excuse me. Record type node. So node is of type record. So I just want to tell you that compound data types will be formed using records. Compound data types will be formed by using the concept of records. So one example, though we are not using much in our subject, you have to know, that's all. Okay. And If I create the data types using records, as you all know, the data items of the record will be accessed by the arrow mark symbol or the period symbol. So any one can be used, not a problem. Okay, based on your requirement. Okay. Next is assignment of values to variables. As you all know, if you want to assign any value to the variable, we use assignment statement. Tell me, how do I assign values to variables? What is the syntax in C programming language? If I have to store 10 in num, how do I write? To store 10 in num, how do I write? What is my assignment operator, students?
Num is equal to 10.
Yes, num, very good. Num equals to 10. Very simple. But in pseudocode, slight variation. Say variable. Instead of writing only equals, we write 1:2. Can you observe that? There's one colon. Can you observe the students? Colon equals. And then write the expression ended with a semicolon. Though I have missed the semicolon here, you have to write it. Okay? So this is the way you assign values to the variables. Remember. Okay. Then there are two Boolean values to be used, as you all know, true and false. So sometimes we use capital letter for true, false. Sometimes we use lowercase letter. So not a problem. That is not a big issue there. Then we have logical operators called as and, or, and not, right? And similarly, we have relational operators, greater than or equal to, lesser than or equal to. And remember, if we are comparing, usually comparing used to have how many equals? How many equals for comparing? Equalities. Equality operator, how many equals you used to write?
2, ma'am.
But in pseudocode, we write only one. So you might again question me, ma'am, then is it not assignment? No. In assignment, we write colon and equals. Right? For equality, we write only single equals. One thing. And second thing, I would also just like to tell, sometimes in the algorithms, for assignment, they will also use like this, the reversed arrow, which means to say the value expression is assigned to the variable. That's the reason, since we have these two operators for my assignment, we use only here single equals. Remember. Okay. You should remember this for writing all the algorithms. All the algorithms. Okay. Next is accessing elements of the array. So single dimensional array, as you all know, how do we access? We write the array name followed with the subscript operator. This is called subscript operator followed with the index. Very simple. A of 1 I write. Okay. But this is the same in pseudocode also. But when we have multi-dimensional arrays, so you should remember this. When we have multi-dimensional, because we are using 2D array in our algorithms, if it's a 2D array, to access element I comma j, how we used to write in our normal C programming to access element I comma j in C? How many brackets we used to write, ma? To access the I comma jth element of the array in 2D array. How many subscript operators we used to write? Students. How many subscript operators? 2. So A of I in one bracket, I in one bracket, J in another bracket. Like this used to write. But in pseudocode, we don't follow this, we follow this. You can just observe A of I comma j, where I comma j is put on a single bracket, no two brackets. We'll give separated by comma. I comma j. Remember all these things. Okay. Next is about the looping statements, very important. How do we write the looping statements in pseudocode? It could be while, for, or repeat until. Can anybody guess? Repeat until is what? Similar to what?
Do while.
While. Very simple there. So let me just give you the syntax of while loop now. Same thing. While, condition, do. So we add one keyword called as do here. Right? Do. So as you all know, while will be followed with a block of statements. Isn't it? So block, when you have block, what do you put? What do you put? When you have block, what do we put? Represent block,
Curly braces. Ma'am.
Brackets,
curly
brackets.
braces. Yes. So within the curly braces, you put statement 1 to statement n. So the only difference here is you should write one keyword called as do. Mandatory. You should not tell mom, I forgot. No, you have to write. You should remember it. While condition do. Then do the next. So you all know that condition is a one which gives a Boolean value. So the condition, till the condition is true, the while will be repeated. Once a condition becomes false, the while will be terminated. Moves to the next statement. You all know that. Next is the convention for loop. Just see this. Tell me what do you understand from this. Just tell me what do you understand from this syntax. Anybody? No problem if it is wrong also. Or tell me, students.
Initialization. Ma'am.
Where is initialization? Okay.
For variable.
Variable is equal to value 1. Okay. This is initialization. Okay. Variable is equal to value 1. Then whatever I wrote bold, they are all keywords. Okay. I think you can see the difference. Bold ones are the keywords there. For variable value 1 to value 2. So variable acts as my iteration variable. Okay. Which iterates from which value to which value? From which value to which value?
Value 1 to value 2.
Value 2. Remember. So this is the initial value. This is the final value. Right? Fine. And then there should be some incrementation part. Isn't it? Because value 1 has to reach value 2. Isn't it so? That incrementation part is given like this. So step is a keyword. Again, then the value I give. Step value. Understood? The step value. Remember, the step value can be either be positive, negative. As you do increment, I plus plus or I minus minus. No problem. Okay? Then the keyword do. Right? So this is again the keyword there. Then followed with the block of statements. Okay? Can anybody just guess now? How will this work? How will this work? Initially, variable will be assigned to what value? Value 1. Then we'll check the condition whether it has reached value 2. Then execute the statements. Then come back. It will step up the value of value 1. Step up. So depending on the value here. Okay, we'll see with an example. Just try to understand this. So whatever you wrote, initialization, condition, and incrementation will be done within this syntax. Within the syntax, it will do. Now, can anybody guess if I don't give this part, what is that it takes by default? I don't give this part. Step is not given. I'll give only this. For variable, value 1 to value 2, do. What is the default value if I don't give this? Any idea? Any guesses? Any guesses? What is the default value? Default value is +1. Try to understand. Okay. So if I don't give that construct, step 2, step 1, step, okay. By default, value will be incremented by 1. Okay. So step can be either be negative or positive. What I said, it depends there. Are you all getting, students? Yes? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So hope you are getting how it works. It is similar to your for loop. Just remember the syntax: for variable value 1 to value 2, step 2. Okay. If you don't give the step value, it is optional. You do need not have to give. If you don't give, it will by default take +1. Okay. Now I'll give you one statement. Just tell me how it works. For I preferably write like this: 1 to 5 do. Tell me, how does it work? How many times this for will be iterated? How many times for will be iterated? How many times block will be executed, students?
5 times, ma'am.
5 times. So remember, when I write 2 to 5, so it is understood that this is equivalent, telling that less than or equal to I less than or equal to 5. So it will first start with I equals to 1. Yes, I is less than or equal to 5. Execute the statements and you can see the step value is missing. So what is the step value by default? How much?
+1.
1. So I, which was 1, becomes 2. Again, the same thing it repeats. Remember? So 2 value 1 to value 2 means it will go to that particular value 2. It is not less than. So I will not be incremented from 1 to 4. It will be from 1 to 5. It will be iterating. 5 times it will iterate because that's how it is interpreted in algorithm. Okay. Repeat until, it is very simple. Again, you have the keyword repeat. Repeat this until the condition becomes false. So it is similar to do while, isn't it? Here you put do. Here you put what, students? Here you put what? While. So we have repeat the statements until. So remember, this is all very important for the next further classes. So you have to remember it. Okay. Conditional statement, very simple, similar to your normal construct, but only differences. Can you observe the difference? What should you do with if and if else? Which keyword is newly added? Which keyword is newly added? Which keyword, yeah? Students.
Then, ma'am.
Then. So it will add then. If condition then statement, if condition else there's no then. Okay, for only for if add the new keyword called as then. Very simple. Okay. Okay, next input and output. Usually we write the instructions like read and write. Sometimes we write print also for write. Okay, print, display, many keywords like that can be used. So there's no hard and fast rule. You should use only read and write. You can use anything as per your conventions. Okay. And lastly, I would also tell you about this. The algorithm that we write is like a procedure. Procedure in sense is like a function. Okay. So the algorithm, whatever we are writing, there is a heading for it to be given. And the heading looks like this. First give the keyword algorithm, followed with the name, come in brackets, give the parameter list. So you should remember this. Algorithm, name, in brackets, put the parameter list. So a name can be any name of the procedure. Try to understand. Algorithm is like a function. Procedure means it's like a function. So function has a name, function has a parameter list. Similarly, here also. Then the parameter list is the list of the procedure parameter. It is the input to which your algorithm works. Try to understand. Example makes you clear, but try to understand it. The body of the algorithm can have one or more statements, wherein I'll include the braces. I use the braces again because it's a block of statements, isn't it? Then an algorithm may or may not return any values. So we are not specifying anything here. May or may not. It depends on the algorithm. Okay. Then simple values are there. We pass by value. Pass by value is used here. Okay. In the parameter list, if I'm passing simple values like integer, float, it is passed by value. Okay. But if it is arrays, it is passed by reference. Remember, when I pass an array to a function, as I told you, we are passing the base address. Similarly, even in algorithm, you do not have to much scratch head for that. Okay. Is that clear, students? Yes or no? Shall we go for the example? Yes? Students. Can I go for the example?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hope you are clear with that. With this knowledge, I go for one example. The example looks like this. Okay, what is the doubt? Liaquat, have you have raised your hand? Mistake. Fine. So as an example, I'm trying to write an algorithm which finds, okay, and returns. See, initially it might look a bit difficult, but there's nothing impossible. You can learn. Finds and returns the maximum of n given numbers. So my algorithm has to return the maximum element in my given n numbers. Okay. So what I'll do is I should design an algorithm. Algorithm is like a procedure. So how do you write the algorithm, ma? Start with the keyword what? Start with the keyword what?
Algorithm.
And the name. The name is now max. Okay. Fine. See, when I'm telling the algorithm, it is like it is a pseudocode that you are writing. Right? So algorithm max. See now, what are the inputs you should be knowing? So you all know that if I ask you to return the maximum of n given numbers, where do you store those numbers? Using an array. So I'll write the parameter list is my A. What is this A? A is my array of how many numbers? How many numbers, students? N numbers. So algorithm max A is an array of n numbers which is passed as input to my algorithm. Remember. Yes. Then before you start writing the algorithm, you should write 3 comment statements. The first comment statement. How do you start the comment statement, students? How do you start the comment statements? How do you start the comment statements? How do you start the comment statements?
Dash, ma'am.
Okay, double hash. Here in algorithm, in algorithm, how do you start comment statement? Use 2 slash. Yes, so 2 forward slashes to be used. There are 3 comments to be written. Okay, just listen. First comment is purpose. Purpose means what? What is my algorithm trying to do? That is called as the purpose, right? Purpose is what? To find maximum in an array A. I'm trying to find out the maximum element in my array A, right? Wherein, as you all know, arrays have indices. So what I have just specified, look at here, array, the index of the array, here I have assumed it starts with 1, 1 colon n, means to say my array is of a size n wherein my index of array is starting from 1. You can start with 0. If I start with 0, what is this end index?
N minus 1.
Minus 1. So just to make it bit easier, we are starting with 1 to colon n. That is your first statement called as purpose statement. Next is the input statement, which is again a comment. What is input to me? What is an input? What is input to my algorithm? What is input? A. A is my input, right? What is A? What is A, students?
Array.
Array of size n. So whatever is my input, I'll just specify. You see, you need, it is not hard and fast rule that you should write like this only. You can also write an array A of size n or an array A of n elements. Anything. It is not specific. You should write like this only. But it should convey what is the input. Can anybody guess last comment? Last comment?
Output.
Output. Very simple. The last comment is the output. Yes. What does it return? Output, as I told you, it should return. See, I am not specifying the algorithm whether it returns or not, but you should be very careful. So returns the maximum value in A, where the index is starting from 1 to n. Okay. Now we'll start writing the algorithm. So starting the algorithm, I'll write the flower base. Okay. Can anybody just tell me the logic? How do you find maximum element in the array? Any logic you remember? What do you do first? Any logic that you remember? Anything may not be correct, but if you know any logic, you can share with me quickly. How do you find maximum in an array? You remember this law? How do you find maximum in the array? Yeah? Suppose my array is like this. How do you find maximum in the array? Any logic? You know or you don't know? Students, someone has to speak.
Ma'am, take a variable marks, and if array of that, if the element in the array is greater than marks, then it's the greatest.
What is that max?
Marks, you set it as 0 initially. Okay, no, you
Okay.
can't.
Okay, fine. Okay, good. Okay. Any other possibility? He said initially you set max equals to 0. Then could you come back, please? Someone who just told me right now. Take a variable max, set to 0. Then student, who told me now?
Ma'am, at the end, you return marks, but if the array I isn't the greatest, then you return marks. So that's how you know marks is the greatest.
Okay, fine. Okay. Anybody else who would like to discuss? Anybody else would like to discuss how max is found? Okay, fine. Approximately right, but what I do here is, if I have 3 elements looking like this, 10, 11, 8, which is my max element here? Max element is which?
11.
11. So what I'll do is, approximately you are right, but slight variation. What I'll do is, I'll take one variable called as max, assign it to my first element. This is my first element. I assume this is my max element right now. Then what I do is, I try to take this variable, compare with the rest of my elements, and update this, okay, by comparing. So what I do is, initially my first element is my max, okay, max equals to 10. So what I'll do is, now I'll start comparing from my second element, because already I assume first is my max. Okay, so I compare max with 10. Is max greater than, sorry, is max greater than 11? Second element onwards. Okay, is max greater than 11 or less than 11?
Less than 11, ma'am.
Max is less than 11. So whatever I assume 10 is my max is now wrong. So what should I do? I should update max as what?
11.
11. Next, what I'll do? I have one more element there. That is my third element. Again, I'll now compare. Is max less than 8 or greater than 8?
It's greater than 8.
It's greater than 8. That means to say, I need not have to update. So max is 11 is correct for me. I'll go further. But I find that the array is exhausted. So what I'll do? I'll initially assign a variable to my first element as my max. Compare from the second element onwards till the end. And the condition that I give is, I should update max when? When should I update max? When should I update max? When max is less than or greater than?
Less than, less than.
Less than the content of my array, where a of I write. So where I ranges from which value to which value? Index. The index of 10 is
1 to n.
1. I'm starting with 1. See, I'm starting here with 1. Index of 10 is 1. 11 is what? 2, 3. So what in general, I starts from where? What is the index of second element, ma?
2.
2, 2, the last index. Last index is 3 means, how do I get the value of 3? 3 is what? Same as number of elements.
N.
Yes. N. So if max is less than a of I, where I ranges from 2 to n, update max. Otherwise, don't update. Finally, once the for loop terminates, return max. Very simple as it is. Now, can you just guess me the first line of my algorithm? First line of my, what should I do first?
For loop.
I should assign something, no?
Assign max
Is
array
equal to?
and
Max is equal to a of 1.
Wow, very good. How do I write? Pseudocode convention. You cannot write max equals to a of 1, right? Equals to you cannot write. What convention should I follow?
Max colon is equal to.
Equals or max the inverted arrow. Okay. So I'll write like this. Max, instead of max, I've taken result. Yeah, very simple. Result colon equals to a of 1. It means my result, that is my max element, is right now my first element. Okay. Next, what should I do? I should compare, right? I should write what next? Quickly. I should write what, ma? A for loop where for ranges from
1 to n.
1 to n or 2 to n?
2 to
2
n.
to n.
2 to n. Tell me the syntax of for now.
For I is equal to 2 I less than n I plus plus.
No, in pseudocode. Pseudocode you have to write. No, this is not program. Pseudocode.
For I colon equals 2 to n.
2 to n. Step baribeka baribarda. Should I write the step or shouldn't I?
Ma'am, not necessary, ma'am.
Okay. It's very simple. For colon equals to I colon equals to 2 to n. Do is you forgot do. Or you should remember do. If you are writing step, what you should have written here? The keyword.
Step plus 1.
Okay. 1. 1 plus 1. 1 means understood it is plus. Negative only you will symbolize. right? If you ignore, if you omit, by default it will take this. Not a problem. Okay. Next. Next, what should I write? What should I write next, students? Comparison statement. No. Tell me, what should I write?
Ma'am, if result is less than A of
A of I. A of I. After that, then if I've written in the reverse way, same thing. If A of I is greater than the result, or you can write if result is less than A of I. Both means the same. Then the keyword then. Remember, following indentation is very important. Otherwise, you will lose the track. Okay. Next, after that, if the condition is true, what should I do? What should I write?
update result.
Result. Result is equal to what?
A
A
of
of
I.
I.
I. Result is equal to A of I. So see the syntax, result colon equals to A of I. Yes. Yes, students. Hope you are getting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then after that, once the for loop terminates, return result. You can see the indentation, right? For is followed with if is followed with a single statement. Once this ends, you have to return result. Then after that,
Close brackets.
close bracket. That's all. This is your pseudocode, or I can write algorithm. I can tell it is an algorithm. Hope you are getting. For example, mom, I don't want to use here 1. I want to write 0. You can write, no problem, n minus 1. Oh, what changes you will do here? Instead of 1, what you will write?
0, ma'am.
0. Instead of 2, you will write what?
1.
1.
1. 2.
N
Two?
minus 1.
Minus 1. That's all. Nothing much different. The rest all remains the same. Just for easier, even in my further classes, we will use 1:n for my arrays, just to make things a bit easier. I'll tell you when it becomes easier. Okay, for what concept. So we will follow this method only. 1:n. Is that clear, students? You have any doubt? You have any doubt?
Ma'am, why didn't we use braces after for, ma'am?
Braces after for you can use. The reason I didn't use because there's only one statement. See, after for there's one if, for if followed with one statement. If you want, you can use, no problem. Here one, here one, here one, here one. You can use. There's nothing wrong. Since it is having only one statement, no, I did not use it. That's all. Anything else, ma'am? Anything, any doubt, any doubts? Students? Okay, take a snapshot of this. Take a snapshot of this because your next assignment will be based on this only. Take a snapshot. Have you taken? Taken? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Followed with the assignment. Write an algorithm. When I tell algorithm now, it is pseudocode. Don't write the algorithm which you had written in the last class in that method. Now it is pseudocode to find sum of n numbers. Okay, sum of n numbers. That means to say, if I give n as anything, need not be 1 to n, any n numbers, an array of n numbers. Okay, don't think it is sum of natural numbers. No, sum of n numbers, any given n numbers. Okay. Next is write an algorithm that performs linear search. You know how does linear search work, right? So try writing it. At least the first one you can write. At least the first one you can try writing it. Hope it is clear, students. Take a snapshot of this.
Yes, ma'am.
I want the first one at least to be written. Okay. So if you are using laptop wants to present it voluntarily, like this, you can create one slide and keep, so that you can, when I ask, you can present it, your assignments. Okay. Take a snapshot of this too. Or no, ma'am, I am writing on the sheet and you scan it, keep it ready, so that you can present it. Anyone? Yes. I'll share this anyways in the WhatsApp group. I'll share. Thank you, students. We end with this particular thing. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. One or two I myself will ask. Meantime, by the time I record the attendance. Okay. Can anybody tell me what are the three statements, comment statements that we write when we write an algorithm? Three comments.
First, input and output.
Okay, very good. Next, how do you write comments in pseudocode?
Forward slash.
Huh? Pseudocode 59.
2 forward slashes, mom.
2 forward slashes. Very good. Okay, next. How do you assign value to a variable? Which operator is used? Tell me the operator. How the operator looks?
Colon
Inverted.
equal to.
Colon equals to or inverted arrow. You can use that. Okay. Do we specify data types in algorithm? Do we specify data types in algorithm, students?
No, mom.
No, ma'am.
No. You can see here, I assigned the result equals to a of 1, but I did not specify result is of type int or float or double or character. Definitely you can see now, whatever is the type of a, that is the type of result. Do you agree with me? If array is of type int, result is also of type int. Right? If array is of type double, result is also of type double. Understood? So nowhere we give any data types here. You can just see. Okay. Next, data types is done. Can anybody give me the syntax of while? While syntax,
While condition do.
then followed with a block of
Block of statement.
statements. Okay. For
Same thing, mom.
for syntax for.
Ma'am,
Same thing.
Okay. Someone wants to talk syntax of for?
ma'am, for variable colon equals to value 1 to value 2. Step
Yes.
the value of step do followed by block of statements.
Statements. Yes. Okay. Step counter value can be omitted. Janvi?
Ma'am, if the value you want to increment is 1, then it's fine if you omit it, ma'am.
Okay, good. Repeat until syntax. Repeat until.
Ma'am, repeat and block of statement until condition.
Yes. The repeat until is same as?
Do while, ma'am.
It is same as your do while. Okay. The last one, if.
If condition then.
That's all. If condition, then statement, else statement. Depends on the else part that you give. Okay. How do you give the algorithm heading?
Purpose.
Algorithm heading.
Algorithm name and parameter list.
Name and the parameter list. Algorithm name and the parameter list. So you have to remember it. Okay, so I'll share the assignment to you all. I want others also to ask questions. If you have any questions, you can post it on the chat, or you can ping to me after the class if you have any questions. Don't remain silent, because remaining silent will not fetch you anything. Okay, so it's very important for you to learn. This is the learning phase. If you don't speak out now, later it will be difficult. You only, it will be difficult. Okay, kindly look into it. Any doubts you can ask, otherwise you can quit. Done with the class. See you in the next class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.